Mondays to Fridays from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. MST. With me, your host, Odette Thompson, right here on 8GG Radio. Much power in your name. I wish above all things that you prosper and be in good health as your soul prospers. We believe for it. Believe, God, we believe for it. Thank you, Lord. They wrote me off. They thought I would die. They tried to bury me while I was alive. They never know purpose cannot die. They thought I was hopeless, but I survived. They wrote me off. Yeah, they thought I would die. They tried to bury me while I was alive. They never know purpose cannot die. They thought I was hopeless, but I survived. I'm still alive. I'm still alive. I'm still alive. I'm still alive. Purpose can't die. Purpose can't die. Who knows that purpose can't die? It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. Purpose cannot die. I want to welcome everyone this morning, this afternoon, depending on where you're listening from, depending on where you're joining and watching from. I want to welcome you to the Morning Flow. I'm your host, Odette Thompson, and we are getting ready for Balancing on Purpose. We're looking forward to having a wonderful time here inside the studios, talking to our very special guest this morning. The time is now 10:34 a.m. here in Edmonton, Alberta. And I want to say happy Friday to everyone from across the nations of the world. I know that you are coming down to the end of your work week. And so there's a lot of persons that are making plans for the weekend. I don't know what you're going to do. You may be going to the beach if you're in a tropical location. You may be going to see family over the weekend. But whatever you're planning to do, I hope that you have fun. And I hope that you spend some time in relaxing, winding down. You know, your week may have been hard, your week may have been rough, but I want to say take some time to rejuvenate, to refresh, and to come back bright and chirpy, bushy-tailed on Monday morning. Is that the plan? Is that the plan? Is that the plan? Is that the plan? Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm having a wonderful day, an absolute wonderful day. And as I said earlier, I'm going to share it with you sometime in the near future. I'm going to share what I'm so excited about today. But guess what? You're going to see me smiling from ear to ear. I know you're smiling. I see the beautiful smile from Walisa over there. And I'll tell you off the air. I can't tell everybody yet, but I'll tell you off the air. But I am just elated right now, giving God glory, honor, and praise for another day. I'm here trying to fix this thing on Facebook that always gives me problems when I'm going live. All right, awesome. Persons are indicating that they weren't seeing it on Facebook. All right, so you can jump over to Facebook. You can go over to my Facebook page. You can go to the page of HGG Radio. You can go to YouTube. And for those that asked last week about my YouTube page, yes, you can jump over to YouTube and type in Odette Thompson and you will see my page. And I know Dr. Thomas, she indicated that she's seen me. I don't know what you're watching me on Dr. Thomas, if it's Facebook or YouTube, I would suggest go over to YouTube. Since it's brand new, go over to YouTube and get my subscription up. I'm gonna be saying subscribe, share, and like. That is the thing. Okay, okay, all right. Enough of the joking around. I want to say welcome, welcome, welcome to all our listeners again from across the nations of the world, to all our viewers that's viewing from across different social media platforms, Facebook and YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I'm Odette Thompson, the host of the Morning Flow here on HGG Radio, coming out of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And our segment this morning is called Balancing on Purpose. And I remember when I was choosing the title for this segment, I specifically wanted to use the word balance. It is a very important thing for us to have balance in our daily lives. And from time to time, it doesn't matter who you are, you might find yourself going through and you get to a point where you're burnt out. Sometimes we can have way too much on our plate. I know that it has happened to me oftentimes where I'm burning the candle from both ends and I get sick when I feel my throat starts, you have that little feeling in your throat and your body saying, all right, you need to slow down. You have too much doing. Sometimes I feel like I don't have enough time and I was like, I want to do this, I want to do that, and I want to do everything. But you have to be intentional, and when you're doing it, you want to make sure that you're also effective because the saying that they have jack of all trade and master of none. Yes. I don't want to be a jack of all trade and master of none. At least master a few, don't it? I want to master a few. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So again, welcome everyone this morning. I see comments coming in. Okay. All right. Dr. Thomas indicated that she's watching me on YouTube. Thank you, Dr. Thomas. All right. Okay. So good morning. Good morning. Good morning to Patrick. Good morning to Andre. Good morning, Karine. Good morning to you. All right. So I want to introduce my guest this morning. This is a young lady. Actually, know her from she was in the tummy. I know her before she was formed. I don't want to say I'm the Lord. I know her before she was formed in her mother's womb. That's how long I have known this young lady, and I've watched her grow. I've watched her over the years. And can I tell you, each phase and each chapter of her life, I am just smiling from ear to ear. And I know when I see her mom, whenever I go to Jamaica and I see her mom and I talk, I was like, and she said, Odette, you remember? And you remember? And I say, yes, I remember. And, I am absolutely proud of this young lady here. I don't just pick people because I know them to come on the show. There was a reason why I selected Walisa this morning. We're talking about balance, and it means having different parts or elements effectively arranged or portioned in your life. And when I look at her and I watch her from afar and I watch all of the things that she's doing, and I thank God for social media that I can keep up with what she's doing because she posts it from time to time and I smile as I said, I see her juggling, but she is doing it in such a way that it is gracefully done. I'm just loving what I'm seeing. But we're going to have a discussion with her this morning because, you can see somebody gracefully doing something and gracefully juggling, and in the back, is like,
Yes.
chicken little running up. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. So we're going to talk to Walisa this morning. As I had mentioned, I know her from she was a babe, and I've watched her grown, and she has been balancing. She has been doing a phenomenal job. And I want to say welcome to you this morning, Walisa.
Thank you, Auntie Odette.
All right.
Thank you, thank you.
When she say auntie, so say I'm not telling no lies. I'm not telling no lies. It's not anybody just call you auntie just like that.
Not at all, not at all.
All right. So welcome, welcome, welcome this morning. And I know that there are a few listeners that have joined on because they know who you are, because we know we were sharing the flyer. and they joined in because they know who you are and they want to hear you talk a little bit more. But for the viewers and the listeners that don't know who Walisa is, I'm not gonna be doing the talking this morning. I want you to introduce
Okay.
yourself to us and tell us who Walisa is.
All right. So good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Good night. Right. If you're just seeing the sun up, the sun is going down. Hello, hello, everyone. My name is Walisa Washel Ward. I am the only daughter of Vaughn and Claudine Ward. Big up to my brother, Walid Ward. I am a lover of Christ. I am currently a case manager at the Children First Agency, aka Bashiba's crew. Big up to all my team members, of course, all day, every day. I am a avid supporter of young people. I believe in my youth, and everything I do is crafted and organized to ensure that I'm impacting our youth and that they don't feel alone. They don't feel like their lives are in shambles. They understand that yes, life happens, but life can also happen very beautifully. And so that is who I am. I am a lover of food. Oh Lord, food, food, food. I will eat, eat, eat. It doesn't show right now, but thanks be to the Lord, right, for good genes for now. I love my social circles. I call them my fam bam because they are the support system that a lot of persons need. And I'm lucky this morning to say that I have a solid support, strong system that is in front of me, behind me, and of course it's led by the Almighty God, Jesus Himself, the big man, the CEO of my life. I don't operate on my own. Everything I do is done to the glory and honor of the Lord. And Auntie Odette is my good auntie.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. All right. So, yeah, you touched on the food, and I have a thing. You see, when you post those things with the food, especially those soups that you
Bobby
post,
soup. Oh Lord.
sometimes I
Beautiful
see
soup.
you posting the soups, and I'm shaking my head. I'm like, oh, this girl is such a not nice person. But I know that about the food. I know that about the
Yes.
food. All right. So, one of the reasons why I wanted you on this morning is because, as I said, we're talking about balance. And as a
Mhm.
young Christian woman, I
Yes.
want I want you to talk to us about how you transitioned from, because as I said, I've watched you from primary school, high school, university. Most of the times when persons, you grow up in church, you do high school, faithful through high school. When you get to that stage to transition from high school to university, most persons, they go into university saved. When they come out, we're hearing a different story. And this is one of the reasons why I admire you so much, because I watched that journey, and you maintained a steady footing. And I want you to talk to us this morning as a young believer, as a young woman. You transitioned from high school to university, but you kept saying you came out the same, well, more mature, but you came out saved. So I want you to
Yes.
tell me, how did you balance that? How did you maintain the integrity, the way you came in and coming out?
So I will start by saying that honesty is the best policy. And I would not sit here and act as though throughout the entire time I was saying Jesus all the way. I will never come on here and pretend like it was, all holy water, all righteousness, all, I am reading the word, I am fasting, I'm praying all the time. It never translated that way the whole journey. There are times when I had to stop and say, Jesus, hello, angels are still here. No, no, Jesus, because of how far I felt from the Lord. And so one of the things that grounded me is the fact that I was a part of the UCAM ministry, universities, colleges, apostolic ministries. And as much as I didn't go to all their sessions, because as a US student, I primed myself in not only being a church girl, but I was also very much into all the other things that were happening, the politics, the drama, the dramatics, the social activities. And so I ensured that because as one of the things as a church girl, is that I need the space to share my Jesus with. We can't all be sharing Jesus with the same persons or of light. And so I have been in spaces where I'm the only Christian standing around and I share my Jesus. I've never been afraid to tell anybody about the Lord. I could tell anybody about Jesus standing up in a party. I could tell you about the goodness of Jesus. That was one of the things I've never been afraid to do. And so how I balanced was, okay, I would still go to church on Sunday. I would still try to fast and pray. And then my social circle too was also filled with a lot of Christians. They may not have always been apostolic or Pentecostal, but we shared the same understanding of being baptized in Jesus' name, being filled with the Holy Ghost, living a righteous life. And so my friends didn't always look apostolic, as we always say. They weren't always in skirt and dresses and long skirts to them ankles. Some of them, there were pants, they had earrings, they had chains. But when we come to pray and when we come to share the word, we do that, and we don't only share amongst ourselves, but we share it with other persons, because we understood the assignment, that it was not about us at all. And so a young person who is out there, who is in university now, or you're thinking of going to university, or you're actually, on the brink of saying Jesus, kind of just sit on the back burner so I can go to an integration. For those who go to UA out here, you can go to a calypso party. It's not worth it, because when you're done being drunk, and when for those who smoke and know what that is like, when you're done being high, you either throw up, you have a hangover, and then you go back to making your body very unhealthy. So let's start there. It is unhealthy. It doesn't help you. By the time you're done, you need supplements to put back in your body so that you don't collapse. You need to go drink a whole heap of water to get all that muck out of your system. And when you're done, you absolutely feel horrible. Your joints are in pain. For those who go to the party and they wind down to the ground until death, and they're on the floor and they're doing all of the crazy stuff. When you're done, some persons they're in ankle brace, hand brace, them hand broke, them foot broke. One thing about Jesus, he's never going to leave you feeling like as though you are not important or you're rubbish when you're finished. When you go to a Sunday service, and I tell people all the time, when I step into the presence of the Lord, there's no greater feeling. There's no dance. There's no party. There is no, because I can speak to it because I've been to parties. I know what going to a party is like. Am I saying that Christian people should go to parties? Do not. You don't need to do it. But I'm sharing with you that it is not the end of it all. When you come out to the presence of the Lord, you feel refreshed, you feel revived, you want to go back in the presence. You don't even want to leave out of the presence of the Lord. You feel like you can go through the week, you're on top of the world. No matter what the devil want to try, it can't stop your shine. When you come out of a party, yeah man, the devil can't do you anything because you're
You
tired
have the
at the week
hangover.
and you
Mm-hmm.
hangover, and you don't feel like you can do anything to impact the world. And so I want us to understand that though you're studying, study with Jesus. I've always said Jesus plus success, Jesus plus studies equals great success. I've never left my Jesus out of anything. Any A's and B's I got, I attributed it to the Lord, because there are times when Auntie Odette, I would have had class the next morning and I went jolly out with my friends the night before, which meant that the little 2 hours I got to study, okay, was to put all the book in my brain and to go and do the exam. And I know that on my own account, I could not have done that on my own. I did a double major going to the university. I did social work and forensic science, which is madness. Okay, let's start there. I took on a double major because again, I knew what I wanted to do.
So how did you balance that? Yeah, I'm
Who
listening to
shines?
you. I'm listening to you. How did you balance it? So you took on a double major. You're in
Mm-hmm.
university. You're
Yes.
maintaining your Christian walk. And I
Right.
love the fact that you said that your friends were of like mind. So the
Yes.
saying that says, show me your company and I tell you who you are, you maintained a circle that would be a support system in your belief. So now
Yes.
you tell me now, how did you balance uh your double major, you still going to church, you still had that relationship with the Lord, and you are not feeling less than because this is you, and the parties and everything going on. You don't feel isolated. They don't feel. I know you have your little circle, but sometimes little things going on, and you say, oh,
That
you
is true.
you tell
Right.
me about how did you balance that and kept sane.
So one of the things I tried to prioritize. So I had my checklist, I had my calendar of activities, I had my book that I would write my stuff in, I had my goal chart on the wall, I had my vision board. And so a part of my dorm room, because I was still my hall chair, right, which is a whole other responsibility because I'm responsible for a whole hall, a whole block of persons. So again, all of that was written down. So for me, I have to write down my stuff. I have to know what my week looks like, and so I take that into my workspace now. I plan ahead for my week. Does it always pan out the way I want it to? Absolutely not, but at least I plan. It's very important to plan, because if you don't plan, then you're just going to be jumping from one thing to the next, and you're not prioritizing those things that are very important, those things that are urgent. I don't live my life in urgency, and so there are some things that, though they're important, they may not be urgent for now. And so I had to understand quickly that, okay, with all these responsibilities that I have, and I'm still 100% devoted to my family, so I would still go home every weekend. um, so I still had to make sure that, okay, when I go home, my parents had to understand that, between 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock on a Saturday, I am not available because I have to study, because I have an exam the next week. And so I had to block out times. And of course, it was hard because, leaving from country, going to UA, you don't get to be around your parents. And for those who know my mom, we're very, very close. So once I go home, it's mommy time. And so for her, it was okay, seeing me study, and she's counting down the time to say, okay, she almost finished, she almost finished, she almost finished. And I had to then sometimes pause to say, you know what, mommy, we're probably going to have to put off our talk until the next day, because, right, it's not just one exam I have, it's three, four, five. Another thing I did was I asked for help. Listen to me, please. It
I
is
love that.
okay to
Yes.
ask for help. And it's not just going out into the world and saying, y'all, can y'all help me, please? It is finding those persons who can contribute effectively to your life. And so my social circle is filled with a lot of teachers, a lot of doctors, persons who are able to assist with what I need. And it's not just persons who are in these big colloquial jobs. I have friends who push carts, them is taxi drivers and so on, because I believe in also being very rounded. I there are persons in my um grouping that other persons would look at me and go, how do you even know that person? And I'm like, don't worry yourself, they have their part to play. And so I made sure to reach out to them in a timely manner too, because I also understood that they also had lives. And so if I had an assignment to do, I would
Mhm.
reach out. So if it's a Spanish assignment, I know I call on Amanda. If it's something for IT, I call on Marvin. If it's something science related, it's Michael. If I need guidance and counseling, it's Dwayne. And if I need teaching stuff, it's Shauna Lee. And so a lot of these different persons really help. Toya, who is a nurse. And so even knowing my professional space, if I need M&E work, I call on Jovine and Teresa. If I need a psychologist, I call on Jess. Know that I need techie person, I call on Cameron. And so a lot of the times I have to remember that I'm not an island. And a lot of times, also living with OCD, it means that my circle also understands how I like to see things done. And they
Mhm.
also expose me to seeing how the same thing can be done 50 different ways. And so it's a
Awesome.
constant learning. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of drive. It takes a lot of determination. It takes a lot of crying days, because I also had that too. Um, I wasn't always balancing. Can we talk about that, Auntie Odette? Because again, as I said, honesty is the best policy. I wasn't always balancing, and so my last year of university, a part of that was in the university hospital, and that's because my body came under so much pressure from doing all the different things that I was doing. And so I was on my practicum. And so this is how my week would look. It's going to sound like madness. So in the day, so on a Monday, I get up at 5 o'clock, I go and I do my rotation. I come home at 9 o'clock, I go to my class until 3. I leave my class at 3 o'clock. I go to a team meeting until 4. From 5 to 8 o'clock, I'm in my study session. 9 to 10, I try to get some sleep, and by 11 o'clock, straight back to 4 o'clock the next morning, I'm studying. And
I
so,
didn't hear any. Did you eat? I didn't hear. When
yeah,
did you
yeah,
eat?
man, the eating, that's one of the things I've never, jumped over. When it's my eating time, it is my eating time. It don't matter what's happening. And so sleep for me became a wishful thought, which meant that my body came under a lot of pressure. I then developed something called peripheral vertigo, which thankfully I am at a better place now, and it meant that I was off balance. And it's God is such a good God. Here we're talking about balance. This is something that messed with my balance. It messed with my hearing. I couldn't see at one point. I couldn't hear, couldn't remember anybody for about a good couple of weeks. Couldn't go to the bathroom on my own. I was, had to depend on other persons to help me. And please note that I was still studying in the midst of this. Okay. Though I could not remember, I was still trying to read, because at the end of the day, I told myself that I'm going to get through this. I had to stop. I had to drop everything. I had to, for a whole week, just sleep. A week and a half, all I did, get up, bathe, eat, sleep, get up, bathe, eat, sleep. And that's what I did for a whole week. And doctors had to be monitoring my brain, because at one point they were saying that the brain looked like it was about to swell. And whilst all of this is happening, my team is praying and the Lord is doing his work, and he's healing me through the process. But again, it took my body almost reaching death's door for me to say, hello, please, you're not balancing correctly. So yes, I had the calendar. Yes, I was prioritizing, but I wasn't prioritizing me. I wasn't prioritizing my health. I wasn't prioritizing the fact that I needed sleep. And so now I have constant insomnia. I go to bed and I cannot sleep until 2 o'clock, because again, my body has become so accustomed to this rigorous thing, until the point where I had to say, no, 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 no. If I even have to lay down in the bed until death from
Mhm.
8 o'clock, even if I fall asleep at 12 or after 1 in the morning, at least my body is resting. It means that I'm not doing any work. Does that always translate? And I know some of my friends are watching right now, and they're saying, look at this girl who we are trying to tell her to go to her bed and come off her laptop. And I know Auntie Deborah, who is watching, she's probably gonna say, she has a way of describing my laptop, and I cannot say that on the air, but it's almost like gross dislike. So when she sees the laptop, she's like, put down the laptop, put it down, put it down. um and so again, it goes back to looking at the different things that you're putting in place, and ensuring that as a part of that balance, you're balancing your mental health. You're balancing your health overall, from the crown of your head to the sole of your foot bottom. You
I
have to
love it.
balance that. Yeah.
You touched on some very, very keen topics here. And you touched on, yes, you were balanced, but then you got to the stage where you were burnt out. And then your
Yes.
body physically started crying out to say, hey,
Yep.
you are doing way too much. So we're looking at balance this morning. I want to welcome everyone to Balancing on Purpose. I'm your host, Odette Thompson, coming out of Edmonton, Alberta. And today we have with us Walisa Ward, a young woman that has proven that balancing is important. You can have all the goals, all the dreams, all the vision boards in the world. And if you don't balance it properly, then your body's gonna stop you. It doesn't matter what you do, your body will stop you right in the tracks and say, listen, no more. no
Oh
more.
yes.
You know, and I'm happy that you have a circle that is able to call you out and to keep you accountable. I love
Oh yes.
it. I love it because we do need to have persons in our lives that will hold us accountable, because when you are burning the candle at both ends and you feel like, okay, yeah, I have this to do, that to do, and you can be busy and not productive, and you're
Oh,
busy, 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 going, 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 going. And if you don't have someone to keep you grounded, if you don't have someone to keep you accountable, to say, hey, stop now. Okay,
yes.
close the laptop. I love that you have somebody that doesn't like to see your laptop, because they understand that, if left on your own, you're going to just burn
Yes.
yourself out. So I love that you have that in your circle. And people, we're talking about balancing on purpose. We can have the goals, we can have the dreams, we can have the plans, but you have to be deliberate in what you are doing. You have to be deliberate in your plans. All right. So I had said to you, I'd given you a time frame for this segment. And what I'm seeing, I'm going to ask you like maybe about two more questions. But what
Sure.
I'm going to do, I think I'm going to have a part two with you, because I have so many other questions that I want to ask you. There's so many other things that I want to talk about, because persons, we see the young, we see them coming up and we say, yeah, man, them have it all together. They have all of this energy. But I love that you touched on that part, that we saw that, yes, you can get to that stage even at a young age. All right.
Yeah.
So, Walisa.
Yes, Auntie.
All right. So, looking back, and I know you don't have
Mhm.
far to look back. No, no, you don't have far to look back. I know that. All right. But so far, what is your biggest accomplishment?
My biggest accomplishment is serving the Lord. Everything else comes after that. Being filled with the Holy Ghost, being a church girl, growing up in church from before my parents even thought of me, right? Growing from the church bench, I think having a relationship with the Lord is the biggest accomplishment I could ever have. Second to that would be having my degrees, being able to not just talk off the top of my head, but being able to, with the information that I would have garnered over the years, to share with my young people. That's what I live for, and that's, I believe that's one of the things that the Lord has called me to do. And as you touched on purpose, I really do believe that I am literally on earth just to help a young person, if it's even one, navigate their life on earth. That is it. I feel like, and I believe I would have been doing it over the years. And whenever the Lord is ready to call me home, whatever that time comes, I all I want to know is that young people have an outlet. I would have left some strategies behind to ensure that no young person is left behind, because I've seen so much of our youngsters just come through the church gates, go out almost like it's a recycling machine. And it hurts my heart to even see that some of them know they are in the grave. They're just. My dad always said the grave site has the most purpose just buried. I don't want to be among those persons who they lived and they didn't accomplish what the Lord called them to do. My purpose is not to drive a Benz. It's not to live in the most lavish house. It's to help young persons along the way. And if the Benz and the big house come, sure of, why not?
You'll gladly
But
take
I
it.
don't live my life on vanity, because that's literally vexation of the spirit, and will stay here after the Lord calls me home.
I love it. I love it. A young person that is sober in thought and speech. All right. So you touched on the word purpose just now.
Yes.
And I'm again loving the fact that you have identified yours at such a young age. Can I tell you, I
Yes.
know of adults my age, older than me, that have no clue as to
What the
what their purpose is.
Yeah.
So, what advice would you give to someone that is trying to find their purpose?
So I'm gonna take it from two angles. So for those young persons who are in church, what I did is I think from a young age, because my dad is a musician, my brother is a musician, the whole family is music. I I latched on to that, and so music is literally how I navigate life. If I'm annoyed, if I'm upset, I go to music. If I need to be closer to the Lord, I go to music. If I'm a praise and worship leader, I sing with triumphant sisters, and so music has always been a part of me. And so I started singing very young. I was on the choir, probably the youngest teen person on the choir from 100 Psalm days, from those back in the day stuff. And so it grew with me. And so I thought originally that singing was the only thing I was called to do. And so I sang. I went to church and I sang and I kept singing. And I still sing now. But one of the days I remember speaking to Dwayne, one of my big bros, and he was saying, Ward, when you talk to people, they listen to you. And I never thought about it. And he was like, you never recognize that whenever you get up to like talk to a young person, like from a young person to another young person, you will reprimand me and I will listen. And you will talk to other persons firmly and they will listen, or you will joke with them and they will still listen. And I said, okay, no problem. And so I started just talking to young persons through youth service. We had teen church back in the day, and I would just talk to them. And I'm a talker. From I was going to primary school, teachers said I talk too much. Every single report card, you talk too much. Walisa, you talk too much. And I've always been an advocate for persons. And so there are times when I reach a principal office in school and it had nothing to do with me. It's because I saw somebody else going through something and I am going to talk about it because I'm not going to my bed with it on my chest. And so I've always been a talker. And so a talker for good reasons, because there are persons out here who just talk and they need to just be quiet. But I talk. And so even through COVID, I recognized that I couldn't reach my youth as I wanted to. And so I used Zoom. And so I would have talks with them on Zoom. There are other institutions who would call me in to just talk to persons. I remember doing a couple of Instagram lives during COVID, just impacting youth. And so after doing that over and over, I'm like, okay, all right, Jesus, I see you. And so I said, okay, yes, I'm a singer, but the Lord is also utilizing my voice to impact youth. And I every time I do it, every time I pray about it, it's like it encapsulates my entire being, and I can't shake it. And so if you recognize that you're doing something and all you can do is think about it, and you find yourself coming up with new strategies how to do it, and you want to explore Instagram and you want to explore other things, and you recognize that, hey, it could possibly lead to something bigger. It could help persons along the way. This could help somebody else who is struggling. That is your purpose. Pray about it. Never just get up. And because sometimes we feel passionate about something and it's just for a season. And so pray about it. Talk to the Lord. Because a lot of the times we think about it. I would say, yeah, man, God know about it. We think about it, say no. But we didn't go to him and we didn't say, Lord, is singing you really called me to do? Is really singing you want me to do? And allow him to tell you. There are many ways in which the Lord talks to me. I say people that God talked me through all movie. Like I'm watching a whole movie and I'm getting all kind of something from it, and I'm saying, hello, Lord, I would just like to watch my action show and dush and car going around the corner. I would like to not be able to, find a scripture to back this up to say yes, no, maybe so. But again, allow the Lord to talk to you. He may not talk to
Mhm.
you like how you hear some other person say, oh, them hear a big thundering voice and whatever. Sometimes it's that still small voice.
Still
And
small
you
voice.
pray and you keep listening out. And if you feel like you don't get a response, you pray again. And best believe that your confirmation can come from the weirdest places. I remember I was at a primary school and I went to the school and I sang. And a little girl came up to me and she said, I just want to talk to you. You look like somebody I can talk to. I have never met this little girl. Nothing. I think she just liked how my hair looked, and she came up to me and she just wanted to talk to me. And I sat down, and she's like, you know, it's talking to you that made me feel better. I like your voice, you know, but I like talking to you better. And I'm saying, okay, all right, Lord, you don't have to tell me again. You don't have to tell me again. And so any platform that is out there to help youth and to encourage youth, I am 110% all for it, because at the end of the day, I need y'all, you need me. It's one big family, and at the end of the day, we all must get to the goal. We all must accomplish our purpose, because at the end of the day, there's nothing else that you're living for. The clothes that we wear, the makeup, the jewelry,
Hmm?
the all of that is just additional stuff. If you don't accomplish your purpose, it means absolutely nothing. You're
Awesome.
not better than the next person who is just walking by daily without any sense of direction.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So if you're seeking to find your purpose, you just got some advice from a very young individual who has found hers and she is operating in her purpose to hear at the end of the day, well done, thou
I
good and faithful servant. That's what we all want to hear, you know. So the first thing is you find your purpose, you start operating in your purpose and be effective and
Yes.
excellent in your purpose that you hear that remark. Everybody wants to hear, well done, thou good and faithful servant. All right, so I have one last question for you because, as I said, we have not touched on triumphant sisters because, you know, we talk about the purpose and we hear how you can talk and sing and we hear how, you know, your balance and we hear how you have your accountability group. We hear all of those wonderful things. But yes, and she touched on the fact that she sings. So she sings, she's a part of this wonderful group. Can I tell you, I was watching something and it was the group that was you guys were at a concert and the very first time I know I'm kind of out of it when it comes to certain music from Jamaica and so I don't hear I have to deliberately go listen to it. So one of the
Mm-hmm.
songs that you guys do, I think it is at the end of the concert, is like the one that Papa San does. And
Yes.
can I tell you, I've been playing it
And
on
you alone
here.
will get the glory,
Yes,
God.
man, that you alone forget the glory. 'Cause you guys were the first ones. This is the first time I heard this. I was like, wait, wait, you
Yes.
know. And so I absolutely loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. So all right, so we're gonna have you back because we need to touch on
No
that and
problem.
how your balance. And I see your social life. You know, people I follow her. You know, I follow her social media. I follow everything that she does. So I see when she a post, when she go a beach, when she do this, and I'm thinking I see in Jamaica going all of these places with them because it look like they're having fun. All right, so the last question I'm asking you today: what's your favorite food?
My best answer is anything my mom cooks. But other than that, I will eat a double whopper, go large with fries and a sweet and sour sauce any day. Or a seafood boil with extra spice. Can you tell that my mouth is getting watery? Yes, any day of the week. Or I can saltfish with banana, yam, and dumpling. That's what I'm gonna eat for my lunch. Yes, I
You
love.
sound
You
like
see how
you
excited
sound
I
like
get?
a foodie.
I'm so excited. But
Okay, so
yes,
Andre, who has been a very avid commenter here, he said, "I was waiting for that food question."
yes. My
So
coworkers know it. My family know it. I am a eater. I just love food. And then I'm telling you, if you look at me, you don't see it, but the God is amazingly wonderful. He works miracles all the
it
time.
is when you go to the Holy Ghost gym on Sundays and on
There
weekends,
you,
man, you go to those
um,
concerts, you burn
there
it
it
off,
is.
right?
There it
I know
is.
what
There it
you
is.
mean. I know what you mean.
That's it.
I know what you mean. I
That's
absolutely
it.
love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much, Walisa, for coming on, for sharing just a part of who you are with us today and helping us to recognize that it is not as easy as it looks to balance. We're
Yes.
looking at you from the outside and we're seeing this phenomenal work being done, and you're just doing it so perfectly. But the fact that you touched on you got to a stage where your body was saying slow down, we're understanding that it's not as easy as it looks, and it takes effort, it takes a team, it
Yes.
takes work, it takes intentionality. You have to be deliberate with what you're doing. And so
Oh,
we're recognizing that balancing on purpose has to be intentional.
oh
All
yes.
right. So our guest today is Walisa Ward out of Jamaica. And people, I had her once at my Bible studies. And we were looking at a particular topic, and I had to bring her in. We were looking at the topic of depression.
Yes.
And yes, man, I got this young lady in to talk to the people them on depression. And you
Yes.
say, how you get this young girl to come talk about depression? What she know about depression? But you know what? You have to see people for who they are and the value that they can bring to the table. And not because of her years in terms of youth. I saw what she could bring to the table. And so I had her come in to talk about depression, and it was it was absolutely wonderful. And so I do thank you for that, for coming in that time. I know I thanked you before, but I had to
No
put that one
problem.
in. I
Not a
had to put
problem.
that one in. But I want to thank you for coming on today, and to all our listeners and to all our viewers from across the different social media platform. I hope that you got some information today about balancing and what our young people go through.
Yes.
It's not as they may make it look easy, but it's not as easy as it looks. And so we want to make sure that we're there for our young people. We want to make sure, remember too that you were young. Sometimes, can I tell you, we forget that we
Oh
were
yes.
young
Oh yes.
once, right? And you place so much demand on them and wanting them to do this and to do that, and they shouldn't fondle or trip up or anything. And I am seeing you grow, and I'm loving what the Lord is doing in your life. And I pray that His hand will continually rest upon you. And I thank God for the support system that you have. Uh, Remember, you're coming back. So people, she going to come back.
Yes.
Andre, I see you there in the chat. I don't know. Andre is one of your friends because he
Oh
is
yes.
just here. Yes. So Andre,
Thank you,
she is
Cameron.
coming back. She is coming back. So I want you to get ready. We will be sharing the flyer for when she's coming back, because we want to hear more about how she balances on purpose. All right. So just to wrap up, I want you to give me 2 minutes. Just give me 2 minutes of a wrap up of balancing on purpose. Go ahead.
Okay, so thank you so much again, Auntie Odette, for having me on. It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure, and of course, I will come back. Of course. I want to encourage a young person, an elderly person, somebody who considers themselves to be a little bit young and a little bit elderly. That's fine. Be intentional about serving the Lord first. If you're intentional about that, then He will help you along the line to be punctual. There are lots of things the Lord can teach us in that we take it for granted. It's only spiritual. It's not so. My God is a all rounder kind of God, and if you serve Him and serve Him correctly, best to believe that a lot of these things that you have dealing with will come full circle, right back around to you being able to navigate the physical space, and not only depending on the Lord, because faith without works is dead. You want to ensure that you're taking your vitamins, you're drinking lots of water, you're trying to read a book or listen to a positive podcast, you're putting your calendar together, you're prioritizing your activities, whether they are urgent, important, not so urgent, not so important. You want to try to be punctual. You want to try to utilize time management techniques. Talk to people. Ask for help. Ask for help. You are not an island. Don't ever think that you can exist in this life on your own. And I want to especially say to my other church folks that it is okay to rest. The Lord rested. Okay? And so I know we want to have Bible study on a Monday, choir practice on a Tuesday, everything, youth on a Wednesday, something else on a Thursday, another prayer meeting on a Friday, and then another prayer meeting on a Saturday. And it's all wonderful. But at the end of it all, you also need to rest. Hint, hint, I know my bishop will hear this and he will understand that I'm also sending him a very direct message. Pastors, worship leaders, it is important to rest. Professional people, owners of your own businesses, it is important to rest. Don't let your mind trick you. I know sometimes we watch Superman and Supergirl and all of these things, but or we only have one body, and the moment it crashes, I'm telling you, it is not comfortable being in a hospital bed. It is not comfortable not knowing who your family members are. It is not comfortable depending on somebody to even go to the bathroom because you cannot see or hear. Take it from me, I have experienced it. You don't have to experience it. I experienced it for the both of us. So please rest. It is very important. And at the end of the day, make God smile. Don't worry about your friends. Don't worry about your family. Don't worry about who is watching you. Serve the Lord the best way you know how and watch Him lead you all the way. And only what's done for Christ in this life and any other life will last. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful evening, and live. You only have one life to live, and so live it in the best way that you can. And of course, big up my team, the Bashibus crew. Big up my mom and my dad, Vaughn and Claudine. Big up my family, my social circle, my fam bams. I love you all. Big up Auntie Odette, and I know you're doing awesome work. And I pray that you'll just grow from strength to strength.
Thank you, thank you, thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much, Walisa. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, people, we've come to the end of another segment of Balancing on Purpose. And I want to thank everyone that participated, all of the comments that I saw coming in. Thank you so much for your comments. Thank you so much for being a part of this segment this morning. I hope you got something from this young lady. I hope that you were taking notes. And if you were not taking notes, jump over to YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
search for Odette Thompson, Odethth. It's spelled different. So OdethThompson.
Oh,
Go
yes.
and find me on YouTube. So yes, I'm doing this YouTube thing now enough. So go and find me on YouTube. You can watch this again at some
Yeah.
point in the future. You can share it with someone. So go over to YouTube, find my channel. You can watch this again. Thank you so much for even watching now. You can go ahead and share it with someone that wasn't able to see it live. We are here inside the studios of HGG Radio. The time is now 11:25 a.m. here. It is -3 degrees. It's an absolutely beautiful day. And I'm just giving God glory, honor, and praise. Thank you to my guest, Walisa Ward, for coming on this morning. And so we're going to be closing out our session on YouTube and on Facebook. But I want to thank you all again for staying the course with us. And for those who are on YouTube and Facebook and you want to continue listening to HGG Radio, just hop on to our live stream. You can go and download HGG Radio from your Google app or the Apple devices, whatever device that you have. You can go ahead and just download HGG Radio, where you can continue to listen to the morning flow, the program here this morning. So again, thank you so much for being a part of our segment today. And I want to say goodbye from the visual side of things. Yes, we do the queenly wave.
Yes.
Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. And remember that when you're being deliberate with balancing, it will work and it will pay off in the end. God bless you all. See you on the other side of the radio.
Yes.
Thank you, Wallace. I love you.
You're welcome. Love you too.